Happy Wooper Wednesday, everybody. My name is Cyanize, and welcome to Wooper Watch. I am here with Mystic Aidan, as per usual.
Hi. Hello. How's it
Hello.
going, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't know why you're so loud for me.
Am I? I don't know.
Or
I
maybe it's
got
just
it.
you. Maybe it is just you.
Maybe, is it? Could it be? I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. How's your life?
Dude, I'm doing pretty great. We're recording this just after Halloween. Had a party with a bunch of my friends come over, college, old and new. So it was nice just getting everybody together in a room proper finally. Because the thing is, with having friends in like a more adult life, I guess if that makes any sense. Everybody kind of knows some people, but not everybody knows everybody. This is the first time we actually managed to get basically everybody in the same room. You know what I mean? So then people actually could like communicate together without having like different groups of four, basically. So that was pretty awesome. It left me wiped this morning, dude. I woke up feeling like I was a mess, but now I'm getting hit with this like crazy energy wave. So I'm feeling like I'm back, dude. I'm feeling great. Dressed up as Terry Bogard, Buster Wolf. Life is good, man. Anything else going on your end?
So I did nothing for Halloween. I know that sounds depressing, but I was sick over the weekend and
That'll
but
do it
it's
to you.
okay though. Like I don't mean to sound like depressed or anything. Like it's that's just how the cookie crumbled this year, and that's okay. I'm not upset about that or anything. I went to cosplay. I wanted to go cosplay Ghost Rider, the Beef Boss mashup or
Oh,
whatever.
that would have been sick.
But I didn't have the money to get EVA foam to make his like head thing or whatever. So it's next year. I'm saving it for next year. Everybody hold me to that because I do want to do that. But yeah, how my life has been going. I'm gonna try to keep this brief because a little bit to talk about. By the way, this is being uploaded on my birthday, so please glaze me in
Oh,
the
right.
comments. Yeah.
Happy early birthday, buddy.
Thank you. So yeah, that to be excited for. I was at a convention this weekend. I met all the Ruby VAs, which is so funny because I literally started watching a month ago. So there you go. I thought that was cool.
My knowledge of Ruby continues to be that they were in Blaze Blue cross tag battle and nothing else.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I've been watching with my friend, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. The later volumes are a little rough, but the early ones were fucking hilarious. I thought. What else did I do? What else did I do? I'm trying to remember if I did anything else, but I don't think I did. I play a lot of Black Ops Zombies. I don't think anything else. Yep, I think
Is
that's
it
it.
actually any good? I'm
I
just curious. The new one, right?
I'm enjoying it. I like. It's not revolutionary. I don't know if you saw Boys Critical's video. You could just pretty much say what I'm saying is pretty much what he said verbatim. Not revolutionary, but it's just Call of Duty, just good ass Call of Duty. I'm still working through the campaign, so I don't know if it's good or not. But I'm enjoying it. Zombies are fun. The other night we just fought a boss fight. It's like a giant sea kraken or whatever. So
What?
that was terrifying. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with the zombies lore, but it was insanely hard, and yeah, I don't know what's happening with zombies, but it's fun. It's really fun. They are super aggressive. I will say that, and it's probably to account for the fact you can sprint in any direction, and so the zombies had to be buffed to account for how fast you could go.
So what I've heard about the game is that it's like nothing special, but it's not like
Yeah,
bad,
it's not
which is good
bad.
for Call of Duty standards.
Oh yeah, it worked. Like I think the main problem is it just updates a lot. So be prepared for the game to ask you to restart maybe a couple times, but outside of that, like the core gameplay, like it's all good. It's all good. It's all there. Some of the maps are a little rough, but you might. I think I like them for the most part. They're fun. And yeah, I wait for a discount though for sure. $70 is not worth it. I definitely wholeheartedly agree. If
I
anyone's
just want to
interested,
say,
but
this
yeah.
is the first time a Call of Duty game has come out in ages that I've heard absolutely nobody talking about how bad it is. So I will say that it is a monumental improvement.
Yeah.
Because I don't have everybody complaining, so that must mean it's good.
Like I definitely get what people were saying like before it released, and I was worried myself because everything was looking so good before the release. Even I was excited about it to come back to playing Call of Duty, and I'm playing it. I don't know. I feel like a kid again.
Hey man, that's probably the best feeling you can ask for, you know?
Yeah.
All right, do we want to rip the Band-Aid off now and just transition out of, oh man, this game is so good to this game is dog water?
Yeah. I'm going to try to keep this brief because then I'm going to be ranting all day. So, Fortnitemares has come to a wrap, right? And what followed is the Fortnite event. Now, we pretty much knew everything like going into it, which sucks.
I would like to clarify, I haven't seen it yet, so this is technically my live reaction to this.
Okay, so we knew we were going to Chapter 2. They didn't even try to hide it anymore. So, we are going to Chapter 2 tomorrow. So, expect that to happen. It's not in the way anybody thought it was going to be. So... You know how next season's called Fortnite Chapter 2 Remixed? It's because rappers are going to be involved. Like, actual artists. Like Snoop Dogg, Ice Spice, and Eminem.
Really?
So what
I mean, okay, Snoop Dogg, we kind of knew Snoop Dogg was coming. And I think Snoop Dogg's an awesome inclusion.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Wait, are they finally bringing back Toady to the shop because of this? Oh, no.
Let's back up. Let's talk about the event first before I talk about what's happening next season. So, the event starts. We noticed immediately that we're looking at restored reels. We're looking at a thing, and it's like live footage of New York. People are watching all the billboards in New York, and we're just like, oh, this is weird. So, this is just like a live event, like in every sense of the word. Then the event starts, and a bunch of buildings start coming out of the ground all over the place and surround the entirety of restored reels. They're like, okay, I guess we're in New York now. And then next thing we know, Ice Spice starts singing and rapping. For like 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Man, you're sitting there for 10 minutes?
Yep. And nothing.
Didn't she have like a colossal fall off lately or something?
I don't know, but nothing happened in between those 10 minutes. It was just her singing. So we're like, oh, okay. And then Snoop Dogg comes on, and the same thing happens. 10 minutes of Snoop Dogg singing. Yep.
It feels like they saw the little Eminem concert thing from the last time they did this. Or like, everyone was like, yeah, that was pretty fun. It was like a little 2 minutes.
Let's turn the whole event into that. Yeah.
Like, why? That was like the least interesting part of that.
And then, something did interesting happen. A rift butterfly came out of the screen or whatever, and then a bunch of like graffiti started shooting up into the sky, and a rift butterfly formed in the sky. And like, you could go in the game right now and see it actually. But the entire skybox is like graffiti and like bright contrasted colors, or saturated colors. I don't know why, but it looked pretty cool. And then the entire game went to white. And then it just showed us a trailer for the new season, and then it kicked us out. That was it.
No conclusion to like the Fortnitemares Mephisto stuff? No, nothing?
Nothing.
They just, that is sad. After, like, last time it was like Galactus. I mean, maybe that's why they got rid of Doom so early. They just wanted this shit over.
They didn't even give a fuck about Doom.
Like, I was under the impression people were saying, like, oh, he's gonna come back last second and, like, fuck over Mephisto and then everything goes to hell. That was what I saw some people suggesting, but, like, this just sounds so lame.
Yeah.
What was the point?
And yeah, there's no downtime or anything. You can still hop into Fortnite. I just want to preface, this is the chapter finale event, by the way. This is their explanation as to why we are leaving this map and going to Chapter 2.
I mean, doesn't this kind of count still as this chapter, though? Because it's kind of like a mini season before we go to the next chapter. But that doesn't really count, does it? Because we left the map. So
I don't fucking know, dude.
That's so stupid. Maybe they count the next thing as the actual, like, chapter finale. But, like, this is such a bummer, bro.
So, with this in mind, I guess we'll just talk about the trailer, because that's the only thing they want us to care about from the event. So, we are going back to Chapter 2, with a bit of a twist. So, instead of them doing Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, you're going to be seeing a mix of various things from these 3 seasons.
Okay.
I can show you the starting map, but some of your favorite POIs have been taken over by rappers, including the agency. It is now called the Dog Pound.
Okay, that's like I said, I'm okay with Snoop Dogg. I'll give him
No,
some
he's
credit.
cool.
That's funny.
Aside from Ice Spice, I think these guys are cool. Don't get me wrong. This is just not what I was expecting at all. So this is the map we're starting with right now. Later on, some other things are going to be added, like the shark and the grotto and all that. Eminem's going to be taking over the grotto. Ice Spice is taking over the shark. Some other things are going to be happening. Oh, Juice World is also coming to the game later, and
Oh, that's
he like passed away in 2019, so a lot of people are happy about it.
that's a nice sentiment at least. I know a couple people that'll be happy about that.
My brother's really happy, so I feel that. And yeah, I would implore you to watch the show on your own and come to your own conclusion. At the end of the day, though, this is going to be chapter 2, just with some rappers here and there, and some of the POIs affected. My favorite, Misty Meadows, it's here, it's untouched, so I'm happy. I'll play it.
I will say I'm a little confused though. Because
Yeah.
I'm looking at the images I can find of the battle pass, and it seems none of the rappers are on the pass.
Yeah, so the Battle Pass is just season 1 through 3 remix skins. The
Okay with
rappers are going to
that.
be item shop stuff, which I don't.
That's I
Yeah.
feel like it should be the other way around. If you're gonna do like the rappers as part of the main point of the season, wouldn't it make more sense for them to be on the pass? Maybe
Makes
it's a licensing
yeah.
thing. It's probably a licensing thing.
It's like, does it want to be chapter 2 or does it want to be rapper themed? You know, and it's trying to do both.
It's like it feels like they had the idea to do a rap season, which I mean I think on concept is actually pretty good. I think you could totally make a whole season like that. I guess they did kind of do underground at the start of this chapter, but if you decided to like go back to the underground stuff and switch things out for like rappers and stuff, you could totally make that work. You
Yeah,
could absolutely add like a skateboard or something. I don't know. I don't keep up like track with that kind of stuff,
right.
but it's like you could totally make that work. But like, why is that tacked on here? It feels like they got the license to a bunch of people immediately after they announced festival, and we're like, shoot, we don't have enough time to put all these people into the game as festival passes before it expires.
Right.
Uh,
Oh wait, chapter 2 OG lasts for only a month. This works perfectly.
it's just cramming in at the very end. Like, it feels like these are two ideas that would have worked great as their own seasons. Like, the rap thing could have totally feels like a season 2 or season 3 of a chapter, right? You know what I'm saying? But like, right over the chapter 2 thing, it comes off as more of an asset flip than a fun thing. Like like OG felt like a fun thing. It felt like, yeah, we already have this. Why not? It's just for a month. Let's go with it.
Hmm.
But this feels like kind of feels a little forced. I don't know.
I'm trying to pull up the names because I forgot, but just in case I can't find them. So this is the key art. These are
Yeah,
all the
I
skins
pulled
that
it
are
up
going to
on
be.
Google.
Yeah.
I've got to pull it up.
So we have a Meowscles X Midas fusion. We have a Ocean X Tiantina fusion. Toxin X Chaos Agent. 8 Ball. It's just an 8 Ball remix skin. There's nothing special about him. And then a Sky remix, but there's nothing special about her either. So I don't get it. Oh, I guess Sky X Guff. I guess.
I
And
guess.
that's their pass. Which again, cool skins because it's chapter 2
Okay, this is
remixes,
making
but
me even more confused. Okay, because I'm looking at like the list of the rappers. They announced exactly 4. The battle pass has 5 skins. It doesn't. Battle passes usually have like
this is a
8 or something.
mini pass because it's
I
lasts
know it's
for a
a
month.
mini pass, but it feels like there's exactly enough skins to make a full battle pass.
But then you would have to like grind the game out in a month to get all of it.
No, but I'm saying at that rate, just double down. You know what I mean? Like, what the
Just
heck?
make it a full season. Yeah.
Just make it the full. Like, you have exactly enough skins for the full season. Like, literally, my only reason I think it's not a full pass for this is because they had the rights to sell them individually. Because they couldn't figure out a way to split the battle pass profits without losing too much money.
Yeah.
Man.
This
So
is
do we know? We know Snoop Dogg is the festival one, right? So he's the only one getting 2 skins by default.
yeah.
This is so meh.
I'm gonna move on so we don't yap about Fortnite, but
It's such a half step. What the fuck?
I don't know if I like what they did with chapter 2. And this is also a bullshit way of like getting them out of doing things like flooding the map during season 3 because they're just not even gonna do that. They're just gonna add in other things.
I mean, what was the transition between Chapter 2 to Chapter 3 again? I feel like I know I
Flood.
didn't play it.
Literal.
Yeah, I thought it was the flood because, like, they could just flood it again.
But clearly they're just not going to do that because the agency's already here and it's going to be on day 1. Or like, well, the dog pound, but you know what I mean.
I'm trying to think. What was the transfer between chapters? I mean, specifically seasons 3 and 4. What was Chapter 2, Season 4 even?
So for 3, the flood, like the tide lowered, and then Thor's hammer like fell into the map, and it was a little teaser.
That's what I thought. 4 was Marvel.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe we're going backwards.
We're not even going backwards.
This is so stupid. This is actually stupid. It feels like we're going backwards, but more like a step back. Okay, let's move on from one music thing to another.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Nintendo Music. Yeah, you should probably take the reins then.
Yeah. Okay. So Nintendo Music is So you know how for years we've been saying, man, Nintendo Switch Online really doesn't give you much, but they keep taking Nintendo Music off YouTube. What if they made like a Nintendo Spotify as part of Nintendo Switch Online? They did. They did exactly that. I mean, it's not on the Switch. You download it on your phone. Then you sign in with your NSO account that you probably already have a membership to. I don't even think it's for the expansion pass. I think it's just part of the regular Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
Just the regular. Mistaken. So keep in mind, because I know a lot of people are complaining. I just want to put this into perspective. Spotify Premium is $10 a month. Nintendo Switch Online is $20 a year. And you get access to this with no ads. Which I think is pretty cool.
I was going to say.
I think it's pretty cool.
That's nice. I feel like this is the only way they would have made profit on it. I don't see Nintendo running ads to begin with on this, but I don't see them also offering it for free. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I'll let you continue to explain it, and I'll give my consensus.
So, it's kind of weird that they've been doing this, because most of the tracks headlining it are Switch stuff, like Animal Crossing New Horizons, Mario Odyssey, and then there's kind of a really random selection. Like, Splatoon 3 only has half the soundtrack. It doesn't have any of the stuff from the updates, if I'm not mistaken. Like, fucking Donkey Kong Country, Yoshi's Island on the SNES are part of the starting lineup. They have the Wii channels. They're dead, but you can listen to the soundtracks of the fucking news channel and Weather Channel, which is really funny. They waited a couple days, and they recently added Mario Wonder. So, that's kind of cool.
Unannounced, too, and everything.
Yeah, and like the only Pokemon stuff like on here so far is the Scarlet and Violet soundtrack with DLC included. I'll give them at least credits for that. But I will say they also have pre-made playlists of Nintendo stuff. Like there's a powering up playlist that's just really pumped up stuff. Like the AI professor battle from Scarlet and Violet, which if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of songs in here that actually didn't have names in English before.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of Kirby fans that were freaking out because we finally got the Kirby Star Allies soundtrack with English names.
Dude, a bunch of Splatoon music, multiplayer music, never had endings, or they ended with now or never, or just looped. Now they have proper endings to the songs and or names.
Hold up, I'm just scrolling through here. They have Fire Emblem The Blazing Blade for the Game Boy Advance?
Right, they got some obscure stuff here to start out with, which it really amazes me. Yeah.
I just checked Fire Emblem, and they have the GBA Fire Emblem stuff and no other Fire Emblem games.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I get Together We Ride, because the thing is, obviously, I feel like it's going to be difficult getting the Smash soundtrack on here, because that has a lot of scattered rights.
I don't expect it, but...
I'd be shocked if they didn't at least put Lifelight in here as a single. You know what I mean? Like, the singles are a thing on Spotify. They just put it on there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so weird, the selection of tracks. It's like, they're working on it. And also, I'd like to point out, it does not credit composers. I understand
that is an L.
If they have lost a lot of the composing stuff, because keep in mind, a lot of older games did not have proper credits. Which I'd understand if they even if they don't have them internally or something. Like, maybe they... we don't have the credits for very specifically Yoshi's Island because there was a couple composers that worked on. We don't know who did which song. Sure. I'm just throwing this out with a hypothetical, just to be clear. I don't know if this isn't based in fact. But, like, okay. I kind of understand not having it. We know, like exactly who composed the entire soundtrack for Donkey Kong Country. Like,
Yeah.
why is that not here? Like, that feels weird. You know what I mean?
Right.
And most of these you can find on like Google. So
I
I
will
don't
say
know, man.
real quickly, if Nintendo had to do their own platform, because I get it, they don't like to play ball with anything else. I I'm okay with it just looking like Spotify. I don't know. I think I like the UI and whatnot. I
The
also love.
UI isn't bad. I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I also love the little features they added. They let you extend songs up to an hour if you choose to, or a spoiler feature that
That's
lets you
great.
put spoilers on games you haven't played yet. So like, what Brothership's coming out next week. Really excited by the way. So you could just put this like let's say they decide to add it like the week after it launches. Put a spoiler thing on it and boom, like you won't hear anything from it, which is so freaking cool. Um, I do want to emphasize though, like at crediting and all that, like, also really, really bad as well. But I think what they have right now is really good. I get the selection's a little meh right now, but if they regularly update it, I think we got something good on our hands.
I just checked. How the ever flying fuck is the only Game Boy Advance game on here? Fire Emblem: The Blazing Blade.
yeah,
Why is that the only Game Boy Advance game? The thing is, these are the internal rips too. These are the orchestra quality, not YouTube compressed. People
Yeah.
already ran through it. So maybe this is like, honestly, it wouldn't shock me if this was a kind of slapdash project where they're like, hey, we should do this.
yeah,
And they've just kind of been picking at what they can, which is why I think it took a few days to add Mario Wonder, because they're probably putting like finishing touches on that. So clearly, they are putting in the effort here. But
cannot stress
it's
enough.
definitely work
Yeah,
in progress.
cannot stress enough. Like as long as they regularly update it and not drip feed like they've been doing with games on Nintendo Switch Online, I think this is a really good thing that they're doing. And credit the composers, of course.
The thing is, I don't even think this is an intentional drip feed like with Nintendo Switch Online. I
Yeah.
genuinely think this is just a work in progress. Like, it gives a kind of a different vibe here. Like, well, I didn't expect them to launch this and have everything on day one.
Right.
But I definitely feel this is a, hey, we're working on it. Bear with us here. And the thing is, one thing I'm noticing pretty quickly, I don't think there's console toggles. Like, they list what console the game is on, but... And I can search Game Boy and get Game Boy tracks, but I don't think there's, like, a dedicated playlist. So, and also... Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm incorrect. It does go by console. But what are the only two DS games, Nintendogs and Tomodachi Collection? Tomodachi Collection didn't even release in English. Like, I guess they're working on it, but it's got a long way to go. Also, if I had to make a specific request, please add the OST for Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs. I know it's like the third game, but I want a concrete name for some of these songs because apparently they just don't have them. And it's so hard to find like remixes of them online. It's annoying. I want my riding on a legendary beast. Also, no Xenoblade songs on here either.
Yeah, really surprising after the recent announcement, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we'll see. Again, if they update it consistently, I won't have any complaints because I think the groundwork is here. The groundwork is all here. It's up to them to maintain it and whatnot. But I'm glad they're finally giving out their music, in a way that I think is pretty good for the most part. I think it works.
Yeah, I'd say it's improvement, though I will say it's kind of hilarious that apparently the app doesn't work with Super Mario Run yet, which was updated to specifically add a feature to let people listen to Apple Music and Spotify on their phones while playing the game.
Bruh.
That's just really funny.
That is
Come
funny.
on. They probably forgot.
Yeah, they'll get to it.
They probably just forgot.
They will get to it for sure. But yeah, let's talk about other surprise announcements. Dude, Xenoblade X just got announced for the Switch and is coming out March something 2025. Insane.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the last of the Wii U titles that felt like, yeah, you could do this without the gamepad.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of the remaining ones are like, oh yeah, Game and Wario, gamepad is incredibly intrinsic. Like Nintendo Land, like games we want on Switch, but kinda aren't feasible for one reason or the other. I think this is the last of the games that really needed a port.
Right. There's like a bunch of reasons, which I will say real quickly, because we have a lot of news to get to. So this game had a bunch of patches that you had to install to run, by the way. Like it was just a bitch to get this game to run on Wii U. So just to start out with that, it wasn't even the best on its own console. Not only that, it was on a dying console. We all knew that, of course. And yeah, it's happy it's all here. All 3 Xenoblade games are here. So why not get the other Xenoblade game here? And there we go. Now we have the full collection. There we go. We love to see it. And then yeah, there's just been no way to like properly play it at all. Because even on the emulation side of things, and yes, I'm talking about emulation. There's no way to buy the game anymore until it comes out on the Switch again. Because yeah, those stupid patches, dude. You had to download these massive patches for the game because the game just came out like incomplete or whatever. So now it's coming to Switch. It's still a pretty decent file size, but now it's all in the card. Funnily enough, it's all reduced file size compared to the Wii U size. I don't know how they compressed it, but they did. And that is on top of the fact, and they didn't talk about this at all, but they said there's going to be additional story content similar to Future Connected and Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
Oh, that's right. Because this is, to my understanding, once again, I've not played Xenoblade. I hear a lot of this stuff secondhand. Yeah. Isn't X kind of disconnected from the other games?
So there's like a nod or two to like okay, so there's this enemy in Xenoblade 1 called Telethia. I heard there's Telethia in Xenoblade X, but outside of that, like, and outside of like some things in Xenoblade 3 giving a nod to Xenoblade X, the Xenoblade X is the only one where you don't need any knowledge of anything going into it. It is definitely its own thing.
Yeah, I've heard it's like one of those games that like it's in a series, you're gonna recognize some things, and they're probably in the same continuity, but like. Yeah, it's there.
It shares mechanics, but it is very much its own thing. Not even in like a Persona sense. Like it's literally it is the odd middle child of the family for sure. And that's probably why they didn't have like such a huge priority trying to get this thing on Switch. But now it's on Switch, and it's also crazy because the Switch. I mean, we're just getting confirmation that the Switch isn't coming out in March, considering this release date. So I think that's interesting.
We kind of already knew.
Yeah. But if you needed a confirmation, like now we know for sure. We're getting a better idea on when Switch 2 is launching. And the fact that a huge game like this is coming to Switch, it definitely indirectly confirms we're getting backwards compatibility, I think. I
will say, I feel like the only reason this port exists right now is because Monolith Soft was just bumming around one day. Nintendo was like, hey, we're shutting down the Wii U eShop servers, and someone like woke up from the like nap that they've been in for like 3 days straight, was like, oh shit. So, and I guess it's nice to see that this is coming out at all. I feel like this, honestly, if you want me to hedge my bets right now, if you want to bet on any first-party Switch games getting expensive over the coming years, make sure to get yourself a copy of Xenoblade X. I'm just not on the Wii U, the Switch version, because if this is the last big release on Switch, I'm pretty
just good way to end it. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, the Xenoblade games have all kept their value pretty high, so if you want to resell a game for like $100
wow, not even. You should play it. No, just resell.
No, I'm just casting your bets. If you're gonna get this, I'd say get it now, because this feels like it is gonna be a game that gets more value later. Though I just want to. Speaking of games of value, I just want to say I checked, because Joey64 posted his list of stuff that has been ported, and I'm just looking through it, and yeah, everything that hasn't been ported is either something available on another platform, like the Zelda remasters, which are technically available on the original systems.
Yeah.
Like sequels to games that got sequels on Switch, like Mario Maker 1, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, or stuff that heavily relied on the gamepad, like Wii Party U, which. I miss Wii Party.
Yeah, I miss Wii Party.
I miss my Wii Party, Cyan. I miss it a lot.
I would love Yoshi's Woolly World, but that's a pipe dream. After that, I wouldn't ask for anything else. I just want Woolly World back.
I feel like Woolly World might actually be one of the least likely Wii U ports, because they did put it on 3DS.
But I like it better than Crafted World.
I feel like everybody did.
I know.
I haven't heard a single person praise Crafted World in like the years since it's come out.
Woolly was it was a better material and game, dude.
Yeah.
They made Amiibo out of the Woolies, not the Crafteds.
Truly tragic. But yeah, with Xenoblade X, that kind of puts a bow on the Wii U.
Yeah,
So,
that's not a bad title to end that on. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to like make a symbolic thing out of it, being like, "Ooh, this represents how the Switch like defines the odds and like does things you would never expect." But I don't fucking know.
It's closure though. It's at least some good closure.
It's a good game to close on. That's a 100-hour game right there.
Speaking of game, we ready to move on for this, by the way?
Yeah, of course. And I will say we are at the 30-minute mark. We gotta stop yapping.
Okay, speaking of games that aren't as long, so Sonic X Shadow Generations came out. I'm curious. I know, Cyan, you're still playing the game right now, so I'm not allowed to have an opinion yet.
Oh, great. Okay.
Well, I did finish Shadow Generations?
I did finish Generations. Did not finish Shadow.
Okay, you haven't finished Shadow yet. I'll be light on the spoilers then. I get it. Like, you already know Sonic Generations, if you watch like literally the first episode of the podcast. Sonic Generations is in my top 3 favorite games of all time. This Sonic X Shadow Generations is just the same game with the second game that's just as good as the original tacked onto it. I think it might have actually moved the slot up to favorite game of all time. It kind of has. I still need to replay Generations. I finished Shadow. I'm saving Generations for a stream because I have a funny stream idea. Probably for January. I'm holding out on that. But I'll get to that eventually. But I gotta say Shadow Generations is fucking incredible. Going there, like, playing that game, and especially the final boss, after going to the Sonic Symphony, was like a magical 1-2 combo, dude. Genuinely incredible game. Mm-hmm. I will say, if you have already played the original Generations, I don't think the package is worth the $50. Because they barely changed Generations other than fixing some issues with the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say if you haven't played Generations, it's okay to just buy it at $50. Shadow Gens is just that good to justify the price. They could have still sold Shadow on its own for $30. Honestly, it's that good. But like, I think it's worth it at the price if you haven't played Generations. But if you have, I can't blame you for waiting a little bit. But the game is absolutely incredible. So I wanted to mention it real quick.
Because I did finish Generation, so I guess I can't talk about it, but I just think Sonic's not for me. I see why people like it, and I get that the game is kind of like trial and error. You have to figure out how to build speed and get to the levels as fast as possible. But I feel like Neon White did it better, and I like Neon White for that kind of thing. And
They're two very different games.
Yeah, well, okay, but in both games you're trying to get through as fast as possible, and you learn new things about the level, and you do trial and error, and you start over if you mess up.
I mean, the thing is, the way Generations is designed, the original game, it's very much meant to be played through once in a one shot, then everything except Planet Wisp and the final boss. You kind of go back and then you kind of redo it, replay it a couple times. Like, the thing is, it's one of those. It was the first game that ever actually got me to start replaying games for stages for better times. Like, that is I have not gotten that same experience until I played Shadow Generations hilariously. But you got to get used to it. You got to get more into it. I guess if that makes any sense. But if you didn't like your first run through, I can't exactly blame you.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't get to Rooftop Run and had your "oh my god, I get it" moment, I don't know what to tell you.
See, I thought it was funny. The truck made me laugh my ass off, but I wasn't enjoying playing it. I was just laughing at how batshit insane the truck was.
City Escape, that stage is great.
Yeah.
I feel like City Escape is the one that they changed the absolute least from the original game. They barely touch City Escape, and it works perfectly.
I am very curious because if you disagree with me, I think I'm just gonna look at you weird because I don't know how any normal human being can like this level. What are your thoughts on classic Crisis City?
I think it's a level that's I would consider on the lower end of the game. I don't think it's a bad level.
Oh, I think it's dog shit. I think it's horrible, dude.
I don't think it's dog shit. I wouldn't call it that, but I do think it's definitely on the lower end of levels in the game.
Yeah. Classic, by the way. The modern's okay. I could handle the modern. The classic was so bad.
I remember my first playthrough when I was younger, and I wasn't as good at Sonic games. Classic Crisis City was a bitch and a half. I remember
Okay.
it was up there with Seaside Hill for levels that gave me a lot of shit.
Oh, I had problems with that one too.
Classic Seaside Hill was kind of fucked up. I don't know. But it's so funny how Classic is the Act 1. I know why, because it's like chronological.
Why did they call it the easier one? It feels like the harder one sometimes.
No, it's always the harder one. It's usually the harder one.
Oh my
Because
god.
Classic has less mobility. Like, there's a reason they gave him the most insane spin dash in the entire series.
Because
He
they had
basically
to.
has the... Literally, they gave him the takeoff at the speed of sound button, and I think that's what makes Classic and Generation so fucking fun. But there's some moments where you can tell they kind of needed it.
Yeah.
Like I think the modern half of the game is just infinitely better. It's genuinely stellar. Like I don't think there's a single bad modern stage. Like I wouldn't even call Planet Wisp bad. I'd call it subpar. You know what I mean? Was there any modern stages you actively disliked? I'm just curious. Excluding Planet Wisp.
Perfect Chaos.
Really?
Perfect Chaos.
You
Okay.
have trouble with it, or
Okay,
was it
so
just kind of
funnily
meh?
enough, it's specifically the last part of the fight.
Oh.
I had no way of knowing when the platforms were gonna fall down or rise up, and so they would just fall down. Either they would fall down, or the camera just gave me zero depth perception, and I had no idea how far away I was from a platform, and I would just fall and eat shit. Like it was so bad.
Yeah, Generations bosses were never its strong suit.
I hated Perfect. At least that last part.
Perfect Chaos was one of the better ones, though. I don't know. Interesting take.
I mean, and also just because the music changes and it's not epic anymore, and I'm just hearing dur, 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 dur.
I could have sworn they played Open Your Heart for the full fight.
No,
Did
at the
they not?
beginning, but then they change it for the final part.
Oh no, I forgot. They kind of
Yeah.
did do that. I don't know. Okay, little word of advice. If you unlock Open Your Heart manually, from one of the challenge stages or whatever, you can just change the song for the stage to be a different track. Like, dude, the Generations final boss becomes so much better when you just change the song from I don't remember how exactly, but I remember being ear grating after doing it for long enough to just Sonic Boom from Sonic CD. Dude, it improves it so much. Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. Like, it changes the entire vibe. But, yeah. It's interesting. At least you gave it a shot. You at least gave it a shot and you finished the game. I will give you hella credit for that.
I'm not I don't blindly hate. I know Twitter sounds like I am, but I did give it a shot. It's just not for me. And I'm not saying it's a bad game because of that. It's just not for me. And I am enjoying Shadow so far.
How many stages are you in on Shadow?
Tress.
Okay. Which of the 3 stages did you... The grass one or the city one?
The city one.
Okay. You're like right in front of the best stage in the game.
Oh,
Dude,
damn it. Is it the grass one?
The grass one, Act 1, is my favorite stage of the whole fucking game. It's actually so good. And I'm not going to say why, but after you unlock all your abilities, go back to it. I've probably played that act at least I played it 10 times in a row one night going for a better time.
Jeez,
It was,
okay.
dude, it's good. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
First Sonic game that I've ever finished, I thought, damn, there were really no bad levels in that.
I think what really, and I'm going to try to keep this brief because we've been talking about Sonic for almost 10 minutes. But I think what helps is that Shadow has more things he can do, and I feel like
He has a lot more going on moveset wise.
I don't know, when I play both classic and modern, I feel like something's wrong with both of them, but Shadow I feel free. If that makes sense.
If it makes any sense for the comparison, playing as modern Sonic feels like a race car. Playing as classic feels like you're playing in an older video game.
Okay.
Playing as Shadow feels like you're playing a fighting game. If that makes any sense. Because you have a lot more to do. Which is because the way Shadow
I
is
wouldn't
kind
call
of
it
designed,
that, but I get what you mean.
it feels like you're using a lot more of your controller, if that makes any sense, rather than
Yes.
just playing a platformer.
Actually
It feels
using
like
the
you have a
whole
lot more
controller.
going on. Because, like I said about Generations playing like a racing game almost. You feel like you got to go for better lap time. With Shadow, it feels like you're just doing a lot more. And I will say, once again, go back and play the levels after you finish the game, because it feels even better after that. Because, you unlock more abilities and stuff. But obviously, if you play the first level of the game, you know that. But, the whole thing with it is that it keeps getting more interesting with all the different, like, stuff you can do. Because it feels like they took the philosophy of Frontiers, having a lot more options, like, in combat. But instead of making it very automated like that game's combat was, they put all of that into the platforming, and it just works. Like, literally, I hope if we ever get another linear Sonic game that you play as Sonic, I hope they do what they did with Shadow. Not specifically what the same things they did as Shadow, because I don't actually like all the movement stuff they gave him. But I do like just giving him more to do. Please.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. More than just Stomp and Boost being your best thing in a scenario. But yeah, we've been yapping enough about this. I'm going to get this out of the way really quickly.
Okay.
Pokemon TCG Pocket came out. It is a simplified version of the Pokemon trading card game for your phone. It is very good. If you've kind of looked at the TCG and are like, oh, I don't want to learn all those rules, TCG Pocket is a much faster way of doing it. It is much more simple of a game. Probably, I'd say, the best introduction to card games that I've played so far. I do not like the gacha rates. I feel like they are way lower than the physical packs, and I think that's bullshit. But it's all right. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, from one Pokemon thing to another, the Pokemon Masters update came out.
Rapid fire.
It's kind of shit.
Hold on. My subway bosses, their mons are pretty cool. Electros and Chandelure.
That is hype. I like that.
Subway bosses got Signa suits, by the way. That's what we're talking about.
They got Signa suits. Not the outfit I wanted to see for one of the two, but
whatever. At least the Pokemon are cool. Electros wasn't in Gen 8 though. Why is he Dynamaxing?
Actually, good point. Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you're right.
You want to explain that, Masters?
They put some of the Kalos characters, got new stuff like Shauna's in the Lodge. That's pretty cool.
Who are the other two new people? I forgot. Oh, wait, no, it's three new people.
Dexio and Cena. Dexio and Cena both got their actual Gen 6 outfits.
There you go.
I don't think they were in the game before this, if I'm not mistaken.
No?
I kind of figured if they added them, they would have done the Alolan outfits. Because they had separate Alola fits, but I guess they're the Gen 6 versions.
Guess not.
That's kind of neat. And we also got,
Airy!
we also got Airy from Team Star, which is very cool. I like Annihilate, so I'm chill with that. I don't think I'm going to pull for it, but that's cool.
Yeah, I won't pull, but, it's there, so that's cool.
Feels like a filler Masters update, but I think it's kind of neat.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it for Masters. That's
it. Moving on.
Going off of last month, it was so good, and then it's just kind of like, okay, it's all right. Why is November always a filler month for everybody?
Wow. Okay. Like. Wow. I feel offended.
No, I love November too, but it feels like every game uses it as the kind of like,
well, I don't want to say it's my favorite month, but I'm obviously a little biased. Like, it's my day.
I'd say it's in the upper half. I'd say it's a pretty good month. Like, yeah, you have your birthday. That's probably why I'm so biased towards December.
Right.
It kind of feels like November.
Nothing bad could happen in December, to be fair.
Like, nothing bad happens in December. December's the best month of every year.
Like, even if you don't, like, I aren't really festive about Christmas, to be fair. Like, I feel like everyone's in a good mood, though.
I'd be so holly and jolly and stuff.
Right. But, oh, yeah, wait, more Pokemon. Oh, my God.
One more Pokemon thing. I'm going to keep this brief, because I know we talked a lot about the Terra Leak last time. We have more developments on Gen 6 and Gen 7. I don't want to, like, just jump into everything here. There's not as much of, like, oh, yeah, we got Pokemon Z was a game that was real. Cool. We kind of already figured that out from previous investigations, but we know it's real. It was a thing that was in production. We don't have many other details. Mm-hmm. But, most interestingly, in Gen 7, we got some scrap Pokemon concepts. Like, Mimikyu was originally going to have 3 forms. It was going to have the Pikachu one, and then depending on which version of the game, probably for the Totem fight, it was going to have a different Pokemon it was going to be changing into.
Wow.
I don't think we actually got it confirmed what it was.
Oh, wait, we saw what it looked like. I actually saw it the other day. It looks like a black little, piece of shit.
Well, we know what Mimikyu was like inside, but I'm talking about the 2 other forms that got cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't going to be like, oh, the inside form. No. It was like disguised as 2 other Pokemon. But, most interestingly, we gotta confirm we were gonna get a flying type evolution.
Wow.
Did you see that at all or no?
I don't even know how's that gonna work.
We don't have. Well, actually, there was apparently art drawn up for it, but it was not included in the leak or hasn't been found yet. But here's the thing: the reason it was cut from the game is we got a note from the developers inside the log of Pokemon. They were like, in consideration for the game, but Flying Eevee was cut because apparently they couldn't find a design that wasn't too similar to the fan designs.
Mm-hmm.
It got cut because we made too much fan art of what a Flying Evolution would look like. That's kind of fucked up.
Wow.
Like, I think part of the reason we got Sylveon is because obviously nobody had done a fairy evolution yet. The type didn't exist. So, I feel like it kind of sucks because, going back to Sonic real quick, Ian Flynn, he wrote Sonic X Shadow Generations, and he's been working on the franchise since the Archie Comics days. But he specifically talked about he has to actively avoid any Sonic fan stuff on Twitter, because if he accidentally makes something a little too close, and it's confirmed that he saw it or heard of it somehow, they can easily get sued for a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a thing with companies like, if you're working on the franchise, you need to avoid looking at fan art. It's fine if you make fan art. You can never take from your own fan art if you work on the franchise now. But it's more of a case where it's like a company logistics thing. So just, word of advice, it's okay to make fan art, just be careful who you send it to. That's all I'm saying. It's a real shame that it happened too, because I feel like Flying Eevee makes too much sense as well. Like, I mean, I know it's based on the special types from Gen 1 and then Fairy, which would have made sense, but, you know, I feel like Flying could have worked. Kinda stinky.
Yeah.
Alright, next section.
Oh, fuck, yeah. I like clicked away from your DM. What was next? Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, here's a loaded shotgun.
I forgot Maybe you didn't hear me the first time. Checkmate.
Dude, Joker versus Giorno on Death Battle.
Oh, still feels surreal. I've been listening to the I forgot A Requiem for a Thief. That's what the song is called. I've been listening to that non-fucking stop. It is so good. It's by Fairwolf Media. I forgot who the singer is, but she's great too. The battle itself, though. The analysis was great too, by the way. It's funny seeing Boomstick and Wiz do a little social confidant little thing. Oh, by the way,
was funny as shit.
Last episode, you were literally talking about like, oh, I hope they do animated Wiz and Boomstick again. The very next episode, bro.
They did it. All I'm saying is I called it.
It's like they're still here. We're good.
They're still here.
I'm happy. Maybe they just struggled a little bit with Omni-Man versus Bardock, but they're here. And then yeah,
I will say, oh dude, what were your thoughts on like the power scaling stuff though? Because I'm so mixed. I feel like the reason Joker won made sense. But including that fuck-ass orb from Persona Q2 was bullshit. That was A-grade bullshit.
To be honest,
I still think Joker should have won, but including the thing from the Memory Wipe spinoff, I mean, I guess that's a choice?
Well, hold up. The fight itself, I think the animation was like amazing. It was so great. And
they did
the hand-drawn stuff.
Holy shit.
Then they got a 3D section in there too, and oh my god, it was great. It was so great. I just want to give shout outs to the fight first before we talk about the result.
Props on the guy who did the sprite work. That shit was so
good. It all transitioned really well into hand drawn stuff as well. Like I love how they can just incorporate all these different styles of animation in the same fucking fight somehow and have it all work together.
They put the full oomph in, and I will give them mad credit for that.
But
literally so good.
As far as the results, before I talk about my opinions, I'm getting a little confused because I don't know if they're starting to use spin-off content and considering that like they're using that as a part of a way to get the result they're going for their death battles going forward, because in the next one, I won't talk about it right now. The next time we'll also be using spin-off content. So I'm wondering if that's just a new rule going forward, that they're going to be using spin-off stuff.
I think using spin-off stuff makes things a lot more interesting.
Oh,
I'm
it
gonna
does.
be honest.
It does.
I know it kind of disrupts some power scaling arguments, but I think it makes things way interesting. Like just regular Ryu Street Fighter, he's pretty sick. But if you don't include some of the other spin-off stuff, it becomes a lot less interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, I feel like for Joker specifically, they also included very directly that it can go blow to blow with Yu Narukami. But that doesn't even make sense, because the only time they've directly fought was in, like, one cutscene of Persona Q2. Before either of them had their max personas. And
then even on JoJo's side, they mentioned Eyes of Heaven, and everyone's like, oh, that's a spinoff, but it is written by the guy who writes JoJo, and it, as Wiz and Boomstick clearly state, they're just like, hey, this just better explains Requiem's ability. It's not even like we're using spinoff stuff. It's just that, like, hey, Requiem is such bullshit that we need a better explanation on his powers and weaknesses, because Requiem is one of the most stupidest things to power scale ever.
Completely agreed.
It's like Gojo's Limitless. Like, it's so stupid.
I feel like they did the research on the Persona half, by the way. They're pulling from shit from Persona 1.
Yeah.
Which is
and SMT in
they
general.
did their fucking research.
Yeah.
And I will give them the highest of props for that. But I almost feel the reason Joker even got the orb at the end is probably because they pulled from Eyes of Heaven, where they're like, well, if we're gonna do spin-offs for one, we kinda have to do it for both.
Right.
And I feel like the result with that is kind of indisputable. Honestly, I thought Joker was gonna win regardless. Mm-hmm. I had full belief in him to clap the fuck out of Giorno. But like, it also kind of feels bullshit. I don't know. I think he deserved to win.
So one of my friends brought up a good point. So Joker does die in the fight. And so the return to zero thing was supposed to activate, but then he just said no, ignored it, and the power of his friends got him out of it somehow, which is interesting. I think, because
I think they just really wanted to. I think the main reason it was there was probably because it was like, well, if we don't include this, then we have a big, hey, why the hell didn't we part of the argument? Because it's like, it's one of those things, power scaling wise, where it makes complete sense.
Well, like, Return to Zero only works once the opponent dies. Like, it could have been used for a gag or something. It didn't have to be included.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more of a case where it's like, how do you bring that up where it doesn't make sense? Like, it feels like the elephant in the room, I guess, to call it that.
Yeah. It's
Not
weird.
To mention,
and also,
I was gonna say, Joker has revival skills anyway.
I know, he has revival skills, he has Enduring Soul and all that, but the little heart graphic or whatever indicated he did die. Like, he did get knocked out by Requiem. At least that's what the fight wants you to think from that, I imagine. So that's where I'm like, oh, okay.
I guess it kind of breaks the death battle rule specifically, but I think it made things 10 times more interesting.
Right.
So I think if it makes things more interesting, it gets
for a fight's sake. Yes, it definitely made it a lot more hype for sure.
Probably would have won without that too.
And I will say, I know Persona is about social links and friends, but man, using friends as an excuse, being like, the power of friendship is the reason I bypass Requiem, as well as Sinful Shell bypassing the laws of the universe. But yeah, it's interesting. I see why JoJo fans are mad. Like, I'm happy because I'm a Joker fan. I'm just playing devil's advocate right now.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it. I will say it time and again, Joker is kind of freaking epic. And
he is insane.
Needed to win regardless.
I mean, it was just high stats versus hacks, so it was an insane debate for sure. Better than Omni-Man versus Bardock, because I know a lot of people really didn't like Omni-Man winning. So there you go. But yeah, we're yapping a lot about Joker versus Giorno though, but there's a reason for that, and that's because the next time was revealed, and well, we knew this matchup was coming. Right. Don't get me wrong, we knew. Didn't think it was gonna happen now. We can say it at the same time, or what do you want to do?
I'm just gonna say it right now. Bowser versus Eggman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude! This might probably be.
And it's not just them. It's not just them. It's the armies too.
It's the armies, and I feel like that's the thing that makes this the most interesting. It's like a straight up, double down. Like, this is probably the tightest, closest death battle I've seen in a hot minute. Well, I feel like Joker vs. Giorno was close, but this is a different level of close. This is like, depending on like so many factors, how you consider who wins this.
Right. Before I even like say anything, we start getting into debating. Death Battle Twitter is posting trailers for every single major player on the opposing team's army. Yesterday we had Kamek. Today we had Bowser Jr. They're gonna do a video for probably not like Goombas and whatnot, but for like the major players like Sage and Metal Sonic and Bowser Jr., all that stuff, which I think is insane.
I just want to say, I think Sage is the biggest wild card here. Like,
well, okay, I actually looked into her. Her shit only works against technology, and Bowser only has a Koopa Clown car.
Okay, it does work against technology, but I'd like to point out, it really depends on what you consider. Because keep in mind, she can also easily pilot Eggman stuff too. He could just leave the Egg Dragoon there and Sage could take over frame 1. Look, we haven't seen her do it yet, but she totally could. You know what I mean? Because she's the most underexplored character on either side of these rosters, to be clear.
Yeah.
The most major player who has had the least happen. So, I feel like that's a very specific note.
Oh, okay. So, real quickly, I just wanted to pull this up because I forgot who this is from. These are rules going into into Bowser versus Eggman because there is a lot going on here.
They have to make so many rules on what, especially for Eggman. Especially for Eggman, you have to set boundaries.
I'm gonna read this off before we start debating, just so you know like what we're working with here, and so everyone at home can listen. In terms of armies, both characters can have anyone that has formerly worked or would be willing to work for them. Eggman, he meant to say Bowser. Bowser obviously could have Goombas and his kids, but not in Tasma because they weren't really allies. Conversely, Eggman could have his robots or metal copies, but not Shadow or Knuckles. Both are allowed to have artillery or armadas like the Egg Fleet and wooden ships. Both characters are focusing mostly on the games. This means all platformers, all RPGs, all spin-offs, all count. Obviously no Archie or Kun, whatever. Both can have any weapons or MacGuffins they've used in their careers, even those people would argue were one-time or non-standard. Paper Mario or any papery abilities counts, though, except mainly the original trilogy. And Eggman can have anything he's personally invented. Insane lineup right now that we got to work with.
I just want to point out, do you know what it means by Orkun? Do you know what that's referring to?
I actually, no idea. Yeah.
That's referring to the long-running gag manga Mario has in Japan. I think it's called Mario-kun. I literally think that's what it's called. But it's basically just very loose adaptations of each game, but it's mostly gag shit. Mm-hmm. So if you included that, it's basically, oh yeah, it's the same Bowser, but he also has Toon Force. Get fucked, Eggman. You know what I mean? Which he already has some crazy bullshit durability, but that's like a different level. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people don't even know it exists. But it does. It's relevant.
I didn't know, so I appreciate you for letting me know.
Yeah. There's the TLDR. I don't think there's anything specific from that other than just giving him like Toon Garbo.
But anyway, this is all to say we are going to get Dreamy Bowser versus Super Eggman. It's going to be insane.
Wait, which Super Eggman are we referring to?
So this is Super Eggman powered up by the Phantom Ruby. At least that's what I've been told.
Wait, what the fuck? Is this real?
Yes.
I don't...
Well, it's not... Well, it's just fan art, but it's basically like... I don't know where Super Eggman comes from. I just heard he's now in discussion, apparently.
Hold up. Apparently this is a thing on the fucking Sonic channel page. What the fuck? This is canon?
Super Eggman's a thing, apparently. Apparently Sonic fans don't know what it is, and I didn't know what it was either until yesterday.
I didn't... What the shit? This isn't like one singular Sonic Channel story.
Yep.
I've never... Apparently this was a thing. This project was only released in Japan and does not have an official English translation from 2023?
Yep. Okay, even if they don't use Super Eggman, they'll use Time Eater. And that'll be the Time Eater versus Dream Bowser.
Okay, honestly, I think Time Eater is a lot more badass.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I feel like the time eater is probably how you power scale that is probably the most interesting part of this, because the time eater is easily like it's not invented by Eggman, but it's more like he wrangled it and heavily modified it to work for him. And I'd like to clarify, he does. I've seen some people throw this around. He does not need Classic Eggman to pilot it because he was using it before he picked up Classic Eggman. It's more that he picked up Classic Eggman to help with it. So he did still invent it though. It's still him.
Yeah. I'm aware. Time Eater is going to be in this. Don't worry.
Dude, Time Eater is going to be, I think, the sickest shit. Because isn't this, this is 2D animated, right? Or is it rigged animation?
It is hand-drawn.
This is going to be the best fight of the
season.
season.
The entire thing is hand-drawn.
Literally, depending on how good Ash versus Yugi goes, this might be the peak of the season.
I'm shocked that
they don't really do seasons anymore, but
they said they stopped doing seasons. I'm shocked this is the third episode since coming back, and they're doing they're just hyping up each little member of the army too, and it's not just Bowser versus Eggman. We also have to consider do certain parts of the army cancel each other out. Are we gonna have a Bowser Jr. versus Sage? Are we gonna have Kamek versus?
Also, if we're counting Super Eggman with the Phantom Ruby prototype, does that count Infinite? I know Infinite is apparently now canonically died as of the end of Forces. They changed it, apparently. So he got sucked into the Ruby. So
after the so the rules did state if they're willing to still work for them. Because in Tasma it doesn't want to work for Bowser. He only did it as a means to an end. Would Infinite be willing to come back?
I'm gonna say Infinite is probably the only one of I guess he kind of falls into the fucked up deity guys category. I feel like Infinite is probably the only one Eggman's worked with that probably would run it back.
Okay.
Because he didn't even betray Eggman in the end. They were working together until literally the last second after he got his ass beaten, then he got zapped.
Okay.
So
then he could come back.
I feel like Infinite specifically would come back.
Oh, because actually that works perfectly. I'm trying to think of the story scenario, but he could die. And then they retrieve the Phantom Ruby, and Eggman's like, okay, I guess I gotta use it.
If he has the Phantom Ruby, yeah, you just beat his ass. Ruby goes flying out. He goes back to his jack.
It works perfectly.
Yeah, it just gets it. But the thing is, I'd also like to point out, this is not the only super form Eggman has.
He has another one? Don't say Nightmare Eggman. I looked into that.
He does have Nightmare
No,
Eggman.
not Nightmare Eggman.
Which is honestly almost a better matchup for Dreamy Bowser. I guess if you want to think about it, because it's thematically the same.
Yeah.
And Nightmare Eggman is pretty fucking cracked too, but he also got beat by Base Sonic, so I don't think it matters much.
Right.
Listen, anything that Eggman has done that has gotten clapped by Base Sonic is kind of out of the running for a final thing. You know what I mean?
We're still kind of debating if they're gonna do a giant kaiju or they're just gonna do reality warping bullshit Fury versus Nightmare Eggman or Dreamy versus Super Eggman to end it off.
I feel like we might get Fury Bowser, but I feel like that because keep in mind it's been well established that Bowser can just kind of change his size. He can just do whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, Eggman
Fury he was under possess of the goo though. To be fair,
I'd like to say that Nightmare Eggman is the only version of Eggman that has changed size in the past.
Yeah.
So other than that, dude. Regular Bowser versus Egg Dragoon is gonna be badass as is, but I wonder how much they're gonna lean into some of the bullshit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, there's so much you could do with it. I feel honestly, Eggman has more direct things going on. It's really science versus magic. Because, Bowser's powers, I guess you could call them, have been explained the least, but he's also suffered through the most bullshit. They dropped him into the sun.
Yeah.
He dropped into a black hole. And
Bowser himself is already a menace in this fight. He is the major player for sure.
It literally feels
I feel like Eggman could go.
Nuke.
Eggman could go and they still could go off a little bit.
They could have literally done Bowser versus his whole ass army. I think
literally, not to give shot to Eggman. He could just create all this shit, but
Eggman is giving a lot by his army. But Bowser on his own, it's sort of okay, this is the sort of debate of, one, gorilla-sized baby versus a bunch of baby-sized gorillas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you take the gorilla size, or do you take the bunch of mini gorillas? That's kind of how this is going with, because like Eggman's army is fucking insane. He has so much bullshit he can pull from. Metal Sonic on his own, I've seen some
And
people
Metal Overlord.
make the argument.
Metal Overlord for sure.
Like he does get Metal Overlord. I don't think he gets Metal Madness, but he does get Metal Overlord.
Mm-hmm.
But because you know the whole, it's kind of weird with Neo Metal, how they brought him back again.
They're just gonna do Metal Overlord. Not think about it too hard.
Yeah, well, like Metal Overlord on his own is fucking insane. I don't think he can kill Bowser single-handedly, but Metal Overlord can wipe out the entirety of Bowser's army. Dude, Junior doesn't stand a fucking chance. He gets his ass beat.
But even Bowser Jr. still has some crazy feats on his own.
I also like to point out, literally, as of last week, we have more additions to Kamek specifically. Now that we know he can create borderline perfect giant Bowsers with the flick of his wand, he can just do that.
Kamek is gonna be he's gonna be a little menace in this fight. We're gonna keep it real. He's gonna be a little bitch.
Kamek almost feels like the wild card for this.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing is, we know he can turn regular enemies into Bowser size. Like, we know that we could have made duplicate Bowsers before.
Mega Goombas!
In, like, literally Mario 2, like, the Lost Levels with the
Mega Goombas.
No, since the first game, we've had clone Bowsers. Mm-hmm. So that is already, like, relevant enough, and they doubled down on that recently with Party Jamboree. But it's like, oh.
They should do a Mario and Luigi, but it's Bowser and Kamek. Then, like, imagine the bro attacks that would come out of that.
That'd be so fucking sick. But, like, it really does feel like Bowser solos, like, Eggman's army solos Bowser's army, but I think Bowser beats the shit out of Eggman. So it's like, how does that even out, you know?
I should mention, like, the Dreamstone. I think is really interesting. I know the Dreamstone is, like, because if you have the power of dreams, that's anything. Anything is possible. Problem is
Eggman has that too. He does.
I bring that up because when Bowser used it, he wasn't really smart with it. He spent most of the time just creating dream versions of his enemies, as well as creating steak and all that stuff. Like, he didn't actually use it to its fullest potential. If Eggman gets Phantom Ruby and all that, he would probably use it to its fullest potential.
Because the Phantom Ruby is fucking insane on its own. There's, like, if you count the extended... Like, the Phantom Ruby is kind of muddy. Somehow both are canon, but they also contradict each other. If you include the Mania version versus the Forces version. But they kind of work the same and kind of different at the same time. It's so weird, but it's also fucking awesome. So there's so much you could do. Like, this feels like it's literally neck and neck. The Time Eater versus Bowser is gonna be fucking badass. Like, then again, we know Bowser can time travel too from fucking Yoshi's Island on the 3DS.
Wait, but did they ever explain what that was, or what?
Through time and space, the King Bowser appears. He could just do that shit. Like, literally, it feels like when you're asking, so what powers does what powers does Eggman has? Like, yes, he has the Phantom Ruby, which can make him super, and he also has the Dream Machine, which can make him Dreamy Eggman. And there's the Egg Dragoon, which could best the Werehog. And when Bowser's just, he could do that shit.
Through time and space!
Through time and space, King Bowser appears.
I will say for sure, because I know a lot of people, like, I'm Team Bowser personally. I'm sorry Sonic fans, but I will not mind if Eggman wins. I don't mind either or, because this is so close. Like, I just want to see a good fight, bro. This is like fantasy football and choosing your lineup. Like, they got so many people to choose from, and so many heavy hitters on both sides, and it's just a matter of I don't know. This is intense. It's so cool to think about and all that.
This is the first death battle where I looked at it and I felt like there is no clear winner. Like with with the Joker and Giorno, I had my bias towards Joker anyway. I had a feeling that he might pull through. But with this, it's like, do you count winning the battle or winning the war? You know what I mean? Because Eggman wins the war. No, easily. His army out trumps the entirety of Bowser's by a fucking country mile. Bowser wins the battle one-on-one.
But Kamek, he's a bit of annoying.
Well, it depends on if they keep the duplicate Bowser thing. Because if they just keep that, Bowser wins.
Kamek can do some bullshit.
Like, the thing is, a lot of Kamek's powers are kind of like, it very much comes down to, he can do that shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also not insane, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're reasonable levels of broken. Like I said, the Bowser duplicate thing. So, I don't know. There's a lot it goes either way. It does.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of what else. I feel like there is a lot to pull from here. They're obviously not going to like include certain things like Koopalings or I don't know. What?
Are they not including the Koopalings?
I think they will be brought up in the analysis, but for the sake of the fight, I think they're just not going to be there because then there's just going to be too much to work with.
Yeah, the thing is the Koopalings have literally nothing to go off that Kamek can't already do.
They won't add anything.
But I think it's a case of I feel like the Koopalings are probably gonna be like the kind of thing that shows up in the crowd shot and then never again.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I feel like they're important to bring up by the fact that there was a bunch of guys with like a similar power level to Bowser Jr., but like not all the way, because they're boring as shit and nobody wants to bother with them. Basic Koopa Troopa has more going on than Lemmy Dog. I'm just gonna be real with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have much else to add to this. I didn't know Super Eggman existed. I'm fucking flabbergasted.
I love how you just didn't know that. And I didn't know either until yesterday.
Apparently it's from a what if story from the Japanese Sonic Channel stuff that they just haven't bothered to like localize at all. So it's basically non-canon material, but it is on Sonic Channel, so I guess he hasn't, but he could. You know what I mean?
The fact spin-offs are included makes this debate so much more crazy, and I really love it. And the army aspect, of course, as well.
The thing is, I don't think Eggman gets a lot from spin-offs, because there isn't as many Sonic spin-offs to pull from, because a lot of the Sonic spin-off stuff, Eggman isn't really involved as much.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's in, Sonic Chronicles, The Dark Brotherhood, but it's like, he didn't do anything in that game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But, like, with Bowser, if you count the spin-offs, he gets fucking insane with the RPG stuff.
Yeah, faux show.
Why Sonic needs another freaking RPG?
Oh, doesn't Eggman get Metal Knuckles and Metal Shadow? I don't think that's going to do anything, but...
Okay, for full clarity, the Shadow Androids are a huge factor. But the thing is, they'd be more relevant if this was before a couple of years ago. Because they kind of confirmed in the IDW comics that the androids are kind of not the most well-made. Like, they can kick ass, but they kind of, like, melt. It's a little weird. It's very much a factor, but also a non-factor. And the Metal Knuckles is, that was a one-time thing in Sonic Advance. If you're counting that, you count the fucking Koopalings. You know what I mean? That's the kind of tier that... It was in one game. It was kind of sick. It could throw down with Knuckles. But, like, if you don't count... Like, you're not counting Gemerald. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see them, but I pretty much... They'll probably just be brought up in the analysis and be used to, like, calculate the result, not so much, like, be in the fight.
It's like, Eggman has a lot of stuff that was very much one-off things that aren't as relevant, but I think makes him win the army. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the thing is, with Bowser, it's very much a case of we have not gotten a lot of new additions to Bowser's army, like, recently. Like, ever since, like, the GameCube era, we've kind of had it solidified what they are and what they aren't. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, like, we've gotten variations, which, holy shit, I didn't even think about the Wonder Flower. Does that count?
Oh, yeah, he does use it.
Because it's like the Time Eater. Bowser pulls the Wonder Flower and merges with the Time Eater. Eggman's fucked.
Can he can he control a Wonder Flower?
Well, he does actively.
Well,
like
okay.
The entirety of Mario Wonder, he uses a Wonder Flower and just goes crazy.
Well, okay. Keep in mind the Wonder Flower only worked because he was near a the Wonder Flower was near the castle or whatever. And I feel like the Wonder Flower, like, adapts to a scenario and comes up with something. So it's a matter of, like, whatever the Wonder Flower is nearby and who touches it. And then it just, like... You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, though. If Bowser gets the Wonder Flower, he gets fucking matter manipulation. That's insane! I don't think Eggman has time travel, but can you beat matter manipulation? Does that count?
I feel like the Wonder Flower is too inconsistent to like control, unless they just straight up turn him into Castle Bowser.
Like, I feel like with the Wonder Flower you could do that, but I feel like adding the Wonder effect, not even as a central point, but just as like a mix-up mid-battle would be fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, just hits the Wonder Flower, the entire field like literally flips upside down, and now everybody's falling. Like, come on, that's a cool ass visual. That's sick as shit. Like, I guess we just don't know enough about the Wonder Flower to use it well enough. But then again, we know equally as little about the Time Eater, so. Because they didn't give the Time Eater any new lore in Shadow Generations. They gave him that as nothing. He doesn't show up for shit. So, like, after the opening cutscenes, I get spoilers, my fault. Not like it matters much. But it's like, I guess? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Half this fight is just throwing your hands up and say, fuck it, sure. Alright, I feel like we've said enough to start wrapping it up.
Oh, you're good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to think of a question
of the day. Just let us know. Who do you think is going to win?
Okay.
Bowser or Eggman?
Bowser or Eggman. By the time this comes out, Bowser versus Eggman shouldn't be out by then, so plenty of time.
I was going to say, I think we still have it comes out after the episode, like
November 17th, I believe.
Okay. 17th, got it. Yeah, that's definitely in time.
Long ways away.
Yeah, do you think Bowser or Eggman is going to win? Let us know in the comments.
Let us know. Give us your sales pitch, even though we're... like, it's not going to really determine the result, but, tell us why you think they're going to win.
I read your comments. I don't know if Cyan does, but I read them all.
I think I check, like, a day after the episode's updated, or uploaded, and yeah.
Yeah, I go back through to make sure to heart them all.
Anyways, be sure to 5-star us. If you enjoyed the episode on Spotify, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. And, yeah.
5-star rating. Yay. All right. All right, Shane, have a great night, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.